Roughly 48 hours since the bomb cyclone started hitting western Washington, there are still hundreds of thousands of people in the dark tonight.
And before some of them can even begin cleaning up, another storm could set the clock back even further. We have team coverage tonight, including the rush to restore power across the region, as we're just hours away from a second round of strong wind.
But we start with KOMO's Denise Whitaker live at Bellevue College, where students living on campus are having to rough it for the time being. Denise?
Well, they sure are. About 400 students live here on campus at Bellevue College, and you can see the dormitories right here behind me. They do have some emergency lighting, but the rest of the building, along with all of campus and much of the surrounding community here in Bellevue, all without power.
The power outage at Bellevue College did more than just kill the lights. Bellevue firefighters had to rescue 2 students from the elevator.
I would have died dead, yeah.
Why?
That's scary. They're in the dark. It was like blaring red lights.
Once that excitement ended, reality set in. No electricity means no heat.
Well, I mean, I don't like the cold weather anyway, so yeah, I'm just freezing. So I got my puffer, everything.
No hot food, no way to charge devices to connect with parents, forcing some to ask the college for welfare checks.
We're actively responding to every comment that we receive on social media.
College President David May tells me they've been mobilizing as best they can.
I think they're doing a great job. They brought us some food this morning.
Yeah, they brought us like some snacks. I mean, I grabbed just carrots and they got chocolate milk.
The Bellevue College Foundation stepped up, delivering salads and hot pizzas for dinner. And May tells me they will keep the food service coming until the power is restored.
The power supposedly Saturday, class Monday. But yeah.
I talked with one parent in Oregon, not willing to wait that out, getting her daughter home now instead of waiting for Thanksgiving break.
We know that it's been a challenge, and we know that it can be scary to have your child hundreds of miles away and not be able to hug them at night.
Are you going home for Thanksgiving?
I am. And I'm really excited for the warmer weather. I'm from southern Utah, so I'm turning up the heat.
It's been a real challenge for them. It's been a challenge for us to respond to their needs as quickly as we wanted to.
And the director of student housing here on campus tells me that they are going to be holding some listening sessions next week with students so they can learn more about the needs and they can maybe be better prepared for the next time this happens. Now, classes are canceled again tomorrow. We'll see if power is restored over the weekend and whether or not they can get those final 3 days of classes in next week before they start their Thanksgiving break. Live in Bellevue, Denise Whitaker, KOMO News.
Okay, thanks, Denise. Downed trees demolished a family's mobile home in Granite Falls. It happened along Paradise Lane Tuesday night when the storm hit. The mom put her hands up to prevent the roof from collapsing onto her kids. Authorities say she was taken to the hospital along with her 4 children to get checked out, but they are okay.
Blanchard hurt my sister. My mom put her hands up.
They're the kind of people that always are helping their neighbors as well, and they're good to people, so we're just going to give back to them.
The family is without shelter tonight, working with nonprofit Angel Resource Connection to get back on their feet.
As people all across the Puget Sound area recover from Tuesday's storm, we've called a weather warn night because of a new storm to worry about. Meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell is here with the timing and the scope. And Shan, you're saying this one shouldn't be as bad as earlier this week.
This is much more of a garden variety November windstorm ahead. It's just really tough to see it, Molly, on the heels of the damage that we have from the last one. Wind is going to be top of mind, however. It's our big issue going into the next 24 hours as this storm does come on board. We're also going to see some heavy mountain snow, plenty of rain in the lowlands, and those huge waves continuing to crash into the ocean beaches around the Washington coast. Right now, it looks like a quiet enough Thursday night, rainy and breezy, but nothing out of the ordinary. But if we widen the view, you can see that next big area of low pressure tracking across the Pacific, initially taking a similar path as the one before it. As such, we have a wind advisory. This is not nearly as severe as a high wind warning, which was in place the other night. Instead, a wind advisory for the East Puget Sound lowlands, for the foothills, for those Cascadia winds that come in from the east, gusting up to 50 miles per hour, mainly after midnight and through tomorrow morning. The coast is also in on this wind advisory, but a more severe high wind warning in place for the southern Washington coastline, including the Long Beach Peninsula. Now, notice those winds that will be highest there will come in from the south, not the east. That's because the storm ends up tracking a little bit differently. We'll talk more about that coming up in my next forecast.
The city of Monroe is taking precautions ahead of that incoming storm. Lewis Street Park is already closed, and the city expects to close more parks in the hours ahead as conditions worsen. According to the city, it could see wind gusts of up to 39 miles an hour before the wind calms back down later tomorrow.
People in Enumclaw aren't sure if they're ready for another round of rough weather. Damage is already extensive around the city, and tonight plenty of neighborhoods are still in the dark. KOMO's Joel Marino checked out the communities up and down State Route 169. He's live tonight in Maple Valley with the very latest for us. Joel?
Yeah, we are seeing this in so many communities, Preston, where trees like this one are no match for the winds that rip through. And when these topple down, oftentimes homes and businesses plunge into darkness. Now, plenty of areas have it bad, and Enumclaw is right up there at the top.
This tree that got taken down, that one completely came over, took every power line out, blew every line, broke that pole in half, which is still sitting there.
The road along Kyle Hughes' home was ground zero for power line crews. Shattered poles were piled up, and teams of workers were working as fast as safety would allow to get service restored.
Enumclaw got hit the worst out of all of it.
Plenty of people would agree, including Kelsey Bennett.
It literally felt like we were in Twister.
Bennett was trying to get home, but was willing to wait while workers removed down trees so the utility company could come restring the lines. Bennett says Tuesday night was out of control.
We had 5 trees down, power lines, part of a roof came off and hit a car, so it's been pretty wild.
We have no hot water due to electric, hot water tanks, power's still out. We have no internet, barely any cell phone service.
Despite a city full of troubles, there are a few bright spots. Lights flickered back on for a few areas in downtown Enumclaw, including a coffee shop called The Local, where people flocked for hot drinks.
Power came on, just came on about 5 minutes ago, so it's great. Finally got people after a couple days.
Amy Lundeen says she welcomes the progress because the past couple days have been bleak.
Like, there is nothing open. I mean, you're going to the grocery store with a flashlight.
Still, the prospect of one more storm on the way when people are still recovering from the last is more than many can bear.
Hoping it's not as bad as what I'm hearing it might be.
Yeah, just this morning, the Enumclaw substation came back online. PSE says they've got one circuit active and they're working to repair the rest. So, another sign of progress. Reporting live, Joel Marino, KOMO News.
Great to hear that they're making strides. Joel, thank you. As we did mention at the top of this newscast, though, hundreds of thousands are still without power. Puget Sound Energy reports more than 223,000 customers in the dark. It blames unprecedented damage to high-voltage transmission lines and hopes to have the majority of customers back online by noon Saturday. Seattle City Light is down to a little more than 6,300 customers still without power. More than 18,000 Snohomish PUD customers don't have power tonight. While crews have made that incredible progress reconnecting the region, there is still a lot of work to do. And some people are now leaning on the few businesses that are open for help. KOMO's Jackie Kent is live with the options available from Kirkland to Mercer Island tonight. Jackie?
And Molly, this restaurant right behind me called Sparrow is one of the only businesses we've seen in this part of Kirkland that is open, and it's being run by a generator. There's still no heat, but they are offering a hot meal or a plug-in for anyone who wants it. Management tells us they are lucky their generator kicked in only a couple hours after the power went out late Tuesday, so he did not have to throw any food away. Other businesses near Juanita Beach Park have their lights off and closed signs covering their windows for the second straight day. The response at Sparrow has been massive, with yesterday sitting about 200 people and more customers we saw trickled in this afternoon. Customer Tony Frankfurt says a tree fell on his house in Issaquah, so he's been without power since Tuesday night. Sparrow was his option to eat and stay warm before going to work nearby.
We literally could not get out of our neighborhood for a couple of days.
The word of mouth, we got super busy, but we were prepared for it. We were kind of expecting it.
On Mercer Island, we saw Puget Sound Energy crews working to restore power across neighborhoods. Then we found only 2 businesses that were open near 27th Street and 77th Avenue. ATI Physical Therapy is having to get creative with scheduling their systems that are down. but they are accepting clients during limited hours. And a major thoroughfare, Southeast 27th, looks more like a ghost town where there are few pedestrians and even Starbucks had its lights off. True Value opened today to accept deliveries and also so neighbors could grab emergency supplies. We were on Mercer Island around 12:15 when some places got the lights back on, but as you just heard, there is still a lot more work to go. Here in Kirkland, right across the street, management here says PSC estimates they might get their energy back sometime this weekend. Of course, we'll keep you posted as we learn more. For now, live in Kirkland, Jackie Kent, KOMO News.
Jackie, thank you. Time now for tonight's KOMO Pulse Poll. Just scan that QR code on screen to answer this question. Are you and your family prepared for an extended power outage? Fortunately, right now, most people at 41% say yes, but 25% say no. Another 30% say somewhat. The remaining 4% say, I'm starting to prepare. If you don't have your phone, remember you can find the poll on our website, KOMOnews.com.
Plenty of roads in South Snohomish County are still impassable because of downed trees and power lines. In Edmonds, a portion of Olympic View Drive is currently blocked between Andover and 180th Street Southwest with no estimate for reopening. Police warn people to not go around the closed signs. And just a reminder, if you come to a stoplight where the power is out, treat it as a four-way stop.
Be sure to stick with KOMO News for continuing coverage of our bomb cyclone and the potential for another storm overnight and tomorrow. We'll have more on the widespread damage coming up at 6:30 and tonight at 11. When we're not on the air, you can get updates any time of day on KOMOnews.com.